for us to give a warm Freedom Chasers welcome, a welcome back actually, to Mr. Greg Herlean.
Well, thank you, Trevor. Thanks for having me. So, look, first of all,
all I do is win, no matter
what. We got to make sure.
You're too kind. All right. I wish I got that intro when I walked in the house at night, but I don't get that intro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Look, I apologize. First of all, one, I'm not driving, so that's the safe news. But number two, if it's a little bit choppy, it should only be choppy for like 10 minutes because I'm almost to my location. I'm in LA. Anyone who's been to LA knows that if you're supposed to go 30 miles, it could take you 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever the case is. So I apologize. So this is my bad. If it's a little bit choppy, it should only be choppy for like 10 minutes if it is, if you can bear with me. Can you hear me okay, Trevor? Iffy?
Yes, you're coming in loud and clear, Greg. We can see you just fine as well. So it's perfect at this point.
All right, good. So and if you get a little distracted, this maybe it'll keep your attention with all the background here. I should have your background behind me, but anyways, thanks for having me today. And I've been looking forward to this and thought I'd be at the hotel by now, but I am not. So that being said, let me just kind of jump into when you gave your intro and talk about multifamily. First and foremost, this is near and dear to my heart. This message that I share is really one that has come from my journey in real estate. I remember first when I got into real estate, the first deal I did, I was looking for capital. And I remember capital being one of the hardest things, in trying to scale your business. And when dealing with multifamily, I can't tell you, I don't know if you feel the same way, but when you're growing your business or looking at an asset that might be outside of what you can do, like for example, when I was 25 or even today, if I'm trying to do a deal that's $3, $4, $5, $6 million, I need to syndicate it. I need partners. I need opportunities. I need opportunities to talk to different money to fund the deal. I don't like, one, doing the whole deal by myself. And number two, a lot of times I can't do it by myself. And so this message of self-directing has been a complete game changer for me in my business from my early 20s. Now I'm in my mid 40s and I continue to still use what we're talking about today. So if you're there and if you're looking for money, or if you have money and in a retirement account, that's what I'm going to talk about here, and then leave plenty of time here at the end for questions, so long as I keep good service. And if I don't, please, raise your hand, Trevor, and let me know. I'll slow down, or I'll try to stutter a little bit. So that being said, first and foremost, I want to just talk about this subject. Self-directing has been around for 40 years now, and most people don't know what this is for lots of different reasons, but primarily people don't know what self-directing is because financial advisors don't want to know that you can use your money to invest in real estate. You can use your retirement money. You can unlock your retirement funds and invest in real estate. The second thing I want to share with you, if you're listening to this looking for money for your deals, or if you happen to be one of the 100 million Americans that have a retirement account, this can be for you as well. What does that mean? So if you're listening to this and have a retirement account, a traditional, a simple, a SEP, a Roth account, or if you have an old 401k with your previous employer, about half of America in the last 7 years have changed jobs. So if you're one of those people, most likely you have an old 401k from a prior employer, and you probably are like most Americans that say, oh, it's only this much money. Oh, I only have $100,000 in there, or it's only $30,000. With a dollar amount at whatever amount that you have in your old 401k, most likely you can jump in to a real estate deal, big or small. So let's say you only have $35,000 in old 401k. I'm certain, Trevor, right, Iffy, there's opportunities that you guys have or that your community has where you can actually partner with your IRA. You don't have to fund the whole deal with your IRA, because I think that's one of the things that people, when they talk about self-directing, they're like, man, I love this subject. I love to be able to put my IRA in a real estate deal, but I only have $50,000. In the deal that Iffy and Trevor are talking about needs $1 million. Well, you can actually your IRA can put a portion of those funds up into a deal. And then the best part about that is if you use your IRA in these syndicated deals, all of those proceeds, profits and interest, go back into your IRA. So you avoid paying the taxes. Now I'm talking about avoiding and deferring, not evading. We never talk about evading, but these rules that have been out for over 40 years are typically what the rich are using. A lot of times you hear about the wealthy getting wealthier, richer. It's because they're using these rules that have been created by, lobbyists and government officials that allow them to take advantage of deferring or avoiding paying taxes on big assets. And typically those big assets are real estate or businesses. And so what we do at Horizon Trust Company, and what we try to train and teach a lot of individuals, is how to, first and foremost, to see if your type of retirement account, what you currently have qualifies to be self-directed. And so that's the first thing we do. And then after we help you qualify to see if your account works to be self-directed, then we'll help answer questions on what kinds of asset classes you can invest in. We don't make decisions on your behalf. We're never going to pitch you a deal and say, hey, look, Greg's got a deal, or we at Horizon Trust have a deal for you. Our job is to make sure that we set up your account appropriately and then help you get it funded so you don't pay taxes when you get your account set up as a self-directed. And then we help you with the documentation, making sure that everything's done the right way. And then we just report to the IRS contributions or distributions that you make. That's our role at Horizon Trust Company. I started this company 14 years ago, primarily because first I was a real estate investor and I was dealing with so many trust companies that dropped the ball. They were terrible at service. They weren't speedy at all. And it affected my deals. And so I was like, there's got to be a better way. So I started Horizon Trust 14 years ago, purely for the purpose of helping individuals get their account set up in a speedy way, in a good service-oriented way, to help them invest in what they want. And so our goal at Horizon Trust is really to teach you how to either unlock your retirement funds or how to teach or educate others to unlock their retirement funds to be your potential partner. And I share that with you because for me, my first deal when I was 23 years old, and this is how I learned about the subject, I had no money. I was trying to flip my first deal, and an individual believed in me and partnered with me with their IRA. They funded 100% of my deal at 23 years old. Wow. I gave them 75% of the profits. I kept 25%. And we flipped the deal in a little over 90 days. And after we flipped that deal, he made $12,000 on a small $65,000 condo in Las Vegas. Now you can't get $65,000 condos in Las Vegas anymore. Yeah. But this is how old I am, right? So I bought this condo for $65,000. We flipped it. He made 12 grand in 90 days, and that 12 grand went back to his IRA. And so at that time, I didn't have a retirement account. I understood. I had the opportunity to hear someone talk about it like we're doing today. You here today are listening to this message. If you are looking to scale your business and leverage your business, using your or other people's retirement accounts to partner with you is a game changer. And so it will enable you the opportunity to make an offer on maybe a deal you couldn't make an offer on before. It would also allow you to be maybe more passive. For example, if you have a retirement account and you're listening to this, you're like, hey, look, I would love to be in a deal, but I don't have excess monies in my savings account or checking account. But I have this old 401k, or I have this IRA out there that's not doing too much, and I'd love to be investing in something that I know, like, and understand. That's what self-directing is. And so, and I probably, because I'm in the car, missed the first part of what I typically go over, which is specifically what a self-directed IRA is. So let me kind of go back to that real quick for those that are new here listening. So a self-directed IRA is not a particular type of IRA. It's just a descriptive term on what you can invest in with your IRA. So for example, if you have a traditional or a Roth or a simple IRA, you could move all or portion of that into a self-directed account with us at Horizon, and it will still be a simple SEP or traditional or Roth. All the rules still apply. All the same IRS rules apply. The only difference is what you can invest in. You get to invest in alternative asset classes like real estate. You can do Bitcoin. That's not like my thing, but people do Bitcoin or precious metals. But I would say 75% of our investors invest in real estate, and a large percentage as well invest in businesses. And so unlocking your retirement funds, understanding what your options are is very powerful. And so our goal at Horizon Trust is hopefully to give you enough information, and with the process of helping you get your account set up or with referrals. A lot of people will hear this presentation that we give. And by the way, we get all kinds of stuff on our website as well. You don't need to become an IRA expert. I wasn't at 23. I just knew enough to share with individuals to say, hey, look, did you know that you could partner with me on my next real estate deal with your IRA? That's all I knew enough of. And then I would refer them to a professional like Horizon Trust Company to actually help them with the process to teach your potential new partner how to use their IRA, unlock it, not pay taxes on it, and get it set up as a self-directed. And I
Okay.
got really, really good at that. I
Yeah,
ended
can I
up
jump in
raising.
here really quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor. Yeah.
Because I think you're
Yep.
making a really great point that I just want to camp out on a little bit is understanding, okay, what level of competence that we as investors need to have when talking to potential passive investors about this tool of self-directed retirement accounts. And I mean, really, you just said it, right? I mean, it just a basic fundamental understanding is all we need, and then we just point them to the experts. And so, if I understood that correctly, is there anything else you would like to add to that point as far as, helping us to have these educational, productive, enlightening conversations with potential investors, but maybe not taking it too far that would step into maybe the line or into the area where you guys would come in and supplement?
Well, look, I think first and foremost, Trevor, the importance of you understanding the opportunity that I'm talking about. So I said there's 100 million IRA holders in the United States. It's a little over 100 million. That number represents over $7 trillion. So if you're on this phone and you're thinking, I can't find a financial partner or an equity partner, I mean, you haven't looked left and right. And so 100 million, I mean, that most likely, if you're not the one that has the IRA, there's someone in your household or there's somebody, a friend or a business partner that has one. And I can tell you about 90% of Americans who have retirement accounts don't love the stock market. They would love to be able to partner in a multifamily deal or in a real estate deal. And so first and foremost, you have to understand the opportunity. And then I'd say number two, don't be the expert. And I'll give you a great example. I couldn't count how many times, but I could probably in every week I get between 3 and 6 texts from people I don't know. And I love them, by the way, but I get these random texts that say, hey, Greg, I saw you at this event. I don't know how they got my cell phone number, but whatever, I'm okay with it. I love our community. And they'll say, I just talked to so-and-so. Would you mind giving them a call? And they think they have an IRA or an old 401k, and they potentially want to be my partner in my next deal. I love these. And so all I do, obviously I don't take all these, I cut and paste, I send it to my team. They'll do a phone call, they'll send an email, and they do a follow-up. They'll do all the hard, heavy lifting work for you. You don't have to be that person. And so the other thing I'll share with you, Trevor, on this point is you should always in your community be talking about money, raising dollars to scale your business. And so let me give an example. I remember as I was raising I've raised hundreds of millions of dollars over my career. And I remember on my whiteboard, I'm still old school, is I would every time I talked to someone who had an IRA that wanted to potentially be my partner or do a deal with me, I found out what was important to them. I'd want to know what kind of deals do they want to invest in with their IRA? What kind of rate of returns and collateral do they want? I was always finding that information out, and then I put it on my whiteboard. Like, for example, Trevor, you'd be like, hey, look, I want to be in multifamily and I want to make at least 15% or more. Cool. I don't want to pay Trevor 15%, but I got it. I understand what he's looking for. If he can come along, her and I can talk, and she's like, I have an IRA. I'm just sick of the stock market going up and down. If I could just get fixed 10% of my money, I'd be happy. Cool. Write her name down. Well, guess what? When I have an opportunity, who am I going to call first? Effie. She's going to save me 5%. Right. Yep. But at the same time, there's also opportunities for me when I will call Trevor. Right? Because there's deals that can pay 15% or that will pay 15%. So I remember, especially in my 20s and early 30s, I was constantly finding out what people liked when invested, what kind of rate of return they were looking for. And that's how I'd position my conversation. And so for all of you business owners on here that are talking about scaling your business and being in multifamily and syndications, this is the single, in my opinion, because I've seen it and done it personally, the greatest thing for you to find partners. There is no excuse not for you to find partners. There's also no excuse as well if you also have a retirement account for you to be like, I only have $35,000 in my IRA. You should be doing something better. My hope and goal is that individuals can make better returns in their IRA than they currently are. So if, for example, if you're making an average 7 to 8% in the stock market, the goal isn't for you to go out and make 20% per year, which is sexy and fun and exciting. The goal in my perspective is to get 2 to 3% per year more. If you can just tweak it and make a few percentage points more every single year over a decade or 2 decades, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars more in retirement account. And so those are the important things to be looking for and opportunities you should be looking for. And so for me, and I'm not doing this now. Now I spend 95% of my time building Horizon Trust Company. I spend about 5% of my time doing what I'm talking about right now with you, but on the other side of it, I'm a real estate investor. So I still use my IRA to invest in deals, and I defer or avoid my taxes altogether in deals that I'm investing using my IRA account. I love investing in other people's deals as, in part of their syndication, because I learned in my 20s, I don't like dealing with vendors and contractors and legal and, all that comes with the deal, and going and checking and seeing if they've finished the project, And so but I do recall when I flipped all those deals and dealing with all these contractors and banks and lenders and stuff, I remember looking back on a lot of my deals, understanding that most of the time, my passive equity investors or my debt would make the same amount of money as I did. And I did all the work.
Wow.
Yes, I left out the word, but I did all that work. And I was like, man, someday I want to be the person on the other side lending my money, being the equity partner with my money, and passively getting the returns. And so that's what I do with my retirement funds. But I find myself often presenting or talking about the opportunity, because entrepreneurs will have me on and have me speak and say, hey, look, how can people scale and raise money? And they want to talk about hard money. They want to talk about equity. They want to talk about banks. All are important. I think they're all part of the recipe for success. That being said, I think the best thing was IRAs, because people are looking for different rate of returns. In IRAs, you get to create the terms that you want with the IRA investor. And if you're the IRA investor, like, for example, let's say if he's the one lending her money as an IRA, her and I will come up with the terms together. Unlike right now, when you go to an equity partner, or particularly, let's say, a hard money lender, you don't get to go to a hard money lender and say, hey, look, I'm going to pay you 8%. Like, they tell you what the points and rate are. When dealing with IRA investors, you come up with the win-win. So if in this example, if he's like, look, I'm not as concerned about rate, I just want to make sure it's consistent. I want a fixed, I want collateral. And then we come up with the right terms for her IRA on the behalf of her IRA. And so that's what's powerful. The more that you can learn and understand about a retirement account, the better. But you don't have to be the expert. So you'll be very surprised if you're listening and you're talking to your IRA, you're talking to, who your community. And I didn't have a social media community in my 20s, right? 23 years ago. It was going to events, right? I'm at events, I'm talking to people. It's a referral from a referral. I'm driving across town. Now you're in these communities where you can actually just do a post like you did, Trevor. It's like, hey, look, how would you like to learn how to be my partner in your next deal using your old 401k? It's as simple as that, having those conversations. And so if you just start getting comfortable with that and having it over and over again, you'll raise lots more dollars. And so that's, self-directing is it's not a new thing. It's not for everybody. It's for those that want to be engaged and do something different with their retirement account. I would say 80% of America should not self-direct, but the other 20% most likely should. And so
and why is
it's
that,
your
Greg?
job to kind of.
Why is that?
The reason why look, only 4% of Americans self-direct, and that it should be a bigger amount. But the number one reason why people don't self-direct is they're unaware. But the big reason why people, the 80% that I'm telling you shouldn't self-direct, is these are 9 to 5ers. These are people who are not going to do due diligence. They're not going to read a contract. They're stuck in their old ways of doing what their parents and grandparents did, and they're not willing to spend a half an hour on doing some due diligence, getting to know what they're investing in. And you still have to do some due diligence when dealing with, when you are now self-directing. This is in the alternative asset class. Yeah. And so typically those groups that I'm talking to at events are entrepreneurs, they're business owners, they're taking action. And so that's who's meant for those kind of for self-directing.
Okay. Awesome. And when having these conversations, sorry, go ahead. If I've been firing these questions away.
No, that's okay, Greg. I think the first time I heard you speak, you had an analogy where you compared a traditional versus Roth, using an analogy about a seed and crop. Can you share with us that again?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, no problem. So sorry, I'm almost there and it's very bouncy, but so the seed and the crop. So look, if you have a traditional IRA, if you think for the next 10 years, the biggest thing that I recommend is using and converting into a Roth. Why a Roth? A Roth is something where you invest in after tax dollars today. So you invest, let's say that I have $5,000. I pay my taxes on my $5,000, the seed. All right. I now invest it in a self-directed IRA. It now grows for 10, 20, 15, whatever. That $5,000 now, let's say, is $100,000. When I pull it out, I pay nothing in taxes, zero, because I've already paid the taxes up front. On a traditional account, traditional IRA, what you do is you don't pay, basically on that same $5,000, you've not paid any taxes on that. You get to actually get a tax write-off for the amount that you contribute to the traditional IRA. So you get a tax write-off today, but now as it grows, it turns into $100,000. When you pull it out, you pay taxes on the full amount. So it really is depending upon how much money or your tax situation today. Your CPA, I'm not a CPA, so you talk to your CPA about what's the best kind of account for you. We can give you recommendations on what kind of accounts do the best for you today, but you should obviously always consult with your CPA on what's best for you and if you qualify. So those are the two types. So the traditional, you pay taxes on the crop, the final product, and on the Roth, you pay taxes up front on the seed, and you always rather pay taxes on a smaller amount. So, right. and then if you already have a traditional account and you self-direct over to us, we can help you set up self-directed from scratch or get you to convert from a traditional to a Roth.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Yep.
Greg, I was a little bit surprised when you said 80% of the people shouldn't self-direct. But it makes sense when you said that, right? Like you have to do your due diligence. I mean, the majority of the people are going to want to just, hey, I put my money, I give it to a financial advisor, and I just close my eyes and look the other way and focus on something else. But for those that do want to be somewhat involved and are willing to do their due diligence, before they say yes, what are some of the objectives that come up in that conversation with them before they're bought into self-directing?
Well, look, first is to see if your account qualifies to self-direct, what kind of retirement account you have. And so that's the first step. And by the way, we help you do this. And Trevor, you can give my information out, or I can at the end. So we'll help you do that. We don't do any hard sales. We want clients. We like to pick and choose our clients. And so the first step is educating, find out if your account qualifies. Once, if you know your account qualifies, really the next step is getting your account set up as far as with us, it's being self-directed. That being said, at the same time, you can be doing your due diligence, reading the prospectus or the opportunity, the contract where you want to invest your money. That's something you can do on your own, also with maybe your attorney, to see what you're going to now move your IRA funds into. As you move your funds into that, if you want to move your funds into that syndication or that deal, you just need to read and understand that contract in the deal points and understand and agree to them. That's really the first step after knowing if your account qualifies to self-direct, is understanding the investment you're going to go in. Do your due diligence, understand who you're investing with, who the partners are, what the deal's about. Those are the kind of the next steps, which is partly the fun of this. I think most of my investors or our clients at Horizon Trust like investing with people they know, like, and trust. They'd rather invest with you than their financial advisor who doesn't really understand the stock market anyways. I mean, who totally understands it for the most part anyways. Right. And that's it. That's the other thing I would say is this is not an all or nothing thing. If you've got an IRA or you have a potential client that has an IRA, let's say it's $100,000, they can start with $50,000, leave 50 with their financial advisor, compete with them a little bit, do $50,000 in a syndicated deal and see how they do after a year. And so kind of baby step into it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to consider, just like building on this, consider kind of the flow of the conversation and how it might unfold in phases. And if somebody's working with a financial advisor and just navigating these potential obstacles of, hey, I have a financial advisor. Hey, I don't know. I've never heard of self-directed. I'm open to have a conversation, but I've never heard about it before. And these kind of obstacles that could come up in the conversation and how to overcome them on our side as ones who are trying to open up this door for them to utilize.
It's a real obstacle, Trevor. It's a real
Oh, hey, Greg, I
Greg,
can't hear
we
your
lost
audio. Can you hear
audio.
him, Iffy?
Yeah, no, I don't. Nope.
Can't hear you.
Hello, how
There
about
we go.
now?
There we go.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
you're back.
All right. Let's Okay. So it's a real obstacle. Can you hear me okay now?
Yep, you're great.
Okay. And what I mean by that is some financial advisors are your brother-in-law, are maybe one of your good friends you've had for 10 years, right?
Yep, yep.
And so what I like to recommend is having an honest conversation with them. Just saying, "Hey, look, I've learned about this." No one can like dispute how you feel and what you believe. And says, "Look, I'd like to try this out. I'm a real estate investor. I want to be investing in real estate. And so I'm going to use a portion of my retirement fund this new opportunity." And it's kind of giving them a notice too, like you need to do better without pulling all your account. Leave some of your money there with them. See how they do. That's what I recommend you doing.
Mm.
And I'm having them pull up here to see if it's because I had them pull over to have better, and I didn't have better service. So and I apologize again. So hold on a second here.
Okay.
Okay. While you're doing that, maybe I don't know, I could throw a question your way, and I don't know if this is more of a sensitive one, Greg, but do you ever foresee custodians of traditional accounts that are hinged to the stock market ever embracing a self-directed division? So our Fidelities, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, etc. Do you ever think that they will one day open up a self-directed division?
No, they can't. But look, they have to be. They're regulated. The typical brokerage is regulated, so they only can provide investment, uh, mutual funds, bonds, stocks, etc. on opportunities and assets that are regulated. And I don't know if that's safer or not. Right? We'd like to believe that's the case, but look at the stock market. Like these guys in mutual and they don't know exactly what's going on and what's going to happen. Like if Elon Musk and decides to tell us he had a bad night, stock's going to drop, Tesla's going to drop. That's just how those things are. And so I'm just a big proponent investing in what you know and like and understand. That's is investing what you know and like.
That's
Awesome.
good. And I guess, Greg, along those lines, help us understand what we are to look for when it comes to a custodian of self-directed retirement accounts.
Yeah, look. Selfishly, self-serving. I started the company because we are the fastest and best service, and I know that. That being said, all trust companies for the most part are created equal. And I know the biggest players, some of them are my friends because I've gotten to rub shoulders with them. We all can do the same thing. Nobody can, we all allow you to do the same thing. Really, the only difference is speed. I feel like speed kills a lot of trust companies. We do things pretty quick. And so just imagine when you got a real estate deal and you got to close on in a week or two, or someone's got money and it takes too long, right? It takes too long to get back to you. You could lose the deal. You could lose the opportunity. And so that's as far as what to look for, just service, the process. You're going to know real quick in the beginning how it's going.
Excellent. And just so everybody is aware, I've actually booked, dropped a link in the chat. And if you want to book a call with Greg and his team, that link is there for you guys to have a conversation around self-directed retirement accounts.
Greg, when you talk about speed, if a person were to open up, from start to finish, what are we looking at? I've been in my first deal was a syndication, and so that kind of caught me by surprise, the amount of time it took. But I'm working on my fourth now. But for those who haven't been through the process, what does that look like? What is slow? What is normal? What is fast?
Look, I would say slow. And sorry, guys, I'm really trying to get good view here. You can have a rainbow around me. So I would say the typical industry, it takes about 4 weeks to get your account set up. We take about 7 to 12 days. I would say 12 on the outlier, and 12 or 7 is our goal. So we save you usually about 2 weeks. There we go. Thank you. We save about 2 weeks in time there. But then the next part, as far as processing goes, is after your money is there and we save 2 weeks on getting your money there, you then will contact us saying, "Hey, I want to I want you to send my money to title to closing this deal. We process your request within 24 to 48 hours. A lot of our competitors take anywhere from 7 to 14 days.
Wow.
So as little as that might sound, deals are lost in 7 to 14 days and interest is lost. So if I can speed things up by a week or two or 4 weeks, a whole month of interest is anywhere from 1 to 2 percentage points. And on $100,000, we're talking about $1,000 to $2,000. So speed is, I think, the most important thing. And then I'd say secondarily is our team. We have a whole team, a concierge team, that once your account's set up, we then do a follow-up to help you with your own paperwork. You're going to send us your paperwork. We're going to walk you through it to make sure you understand it's titled correctly, how it works. And we just want to make sure you have a great process and experience with us, so then you can reinvest in your next deal, whatever that might be. And so that's the process, and that's really how we're different from our competitors. For the most part, though, we're all created equal as far as what we can and cannot do. Just like Fidelity or Charles Schwab, they're all the same as far as what they can offer for the most part. Cool. I see a question here. So we start going to some questions because they're good.
Yeah, let's do it. Brian, why don't you raise your hand? And also, Catherine, why don't you raise your hand? We'll get you unmuted. You can speak to Greg directly. But before, I wanted to inject a quick question here. Greg, how can people stay in touch with you? How can they, stay up to speed on what you have going on next, to follow you, what are your social media channels, these kind of things, so people can stay on top of what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So Iffy or Trevor, if you want to put it in there for me, it's just greg@horizontrust.com. So my email is greg@horizontrust.com. Like I said before, I don't mind the text message or emails. Just feel free to email me and say, I just got some questions about my own IRA, or about my own 401k or 403b or whatever the case is. And we'll answer your questions first for you. And then as far as like social media, I feel like I'm still new at this because my kids are better at me at it than I am. But Instagram, I put out a lot of videos and information. In Facebook, because I'm old. My kids let me know because I post things on Facebook. I'm old, but they're on Instagram as well. And so for anyone that's old on Facebook like me, you'll see my posts there and content information. So follow me for sure on social media. That being said, email me as well with any questions you might have, or say, hey, look, I've got someone that might qualify. I'm not even sure because Greg, you were driving in a car in LA, and it's like I couldn't totally understand. I think this qualifies. Feel free to shoot me an email and do a call with me or my team member. Make us part of your team. So as far as your money team, raising money for your next deal, your next syndication.
What's your IG handle, Greg?
Just Greg Herlean. You won't find many Herleans, just Greg Herlean.
All right, cool.
In general, do pensions qualify?
Pensions, if you've left that employer. Pensions do qualify, but if you already left, and I'm going to stay in the car here because we've got their spot, but I don't want to lose our service getting out of the car at this point. So we'll just keep going here for a few more minutes and then wrap up.
Excellent. Brian, let's get you unmuted, my man, and you can ask your question.
Good. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Greg, and everyone. My question is, how does it differ when you're investing your self-directed IRA in a syndication, as an LP, as a GP, or as a JV? Or is it like a similar process and structure, or is it different?
Great question. Thanks, Brian. It's typically the same. The only difference is the vesting. Now, your IRA wouldn't be typically a general partner. It needs to be more passive, and so typically you're more of a limited partner in that case. Or you could be, on an LLC. You can be a regular member as well. But I would say the biggest thing is making sure that your IRA, that the vesting is done correctly. Like, for example, Brian, I'm not going to, I'll botch your last name, so I'll just say Brian. So like right now, Brian, if you or your LLC were to be the investor in a deal, and your name is listed on the cap table, the difference is you just want to make sure that now your IRA, let's say it's your Roth or traditional, your self-directed IRA is now listed on the cap table. And so that's important because you want to make sure that all the distributions go back to the IRA. The other thing to keep in mind when investing using your IRA funds is let's say that my IRA invests in a deal partnered with you, Brian. That being the case, I can't get a commission a salary, any compensation in a deal that my IRA is the investor in. So that's important as well. Some that would blow up. It's a prohibited transaction, frankly. And so IRAs typically are a limited partner or a partner that is not a managing partner getting any kind of compensation.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Brian, thank you for the question. Outstanding. Catherine, let's get you unmuted here. You can ask your question.
Hey, thank you so much. One of the questions I had is about, I've heard about checkbook control. So you had said something about submitting it to your team. What's the distinction there?
Yeah, look, checkbook control is the most flexible way of using your IRA. Checkbook control just basically means that we do one extra step, and we can help you with this. We open up probably about 40 of these a month. So after you get your money sent from wherever it's at over to your self-directed account at Horizon Trust, you then create, we would do this for you, a LLC that's owned by your IRA. So now your IRA is the owner instead of you, and your funds then will be sent from Horizon Trust Company to your LLC that you personally can be the manager of, but your LLC is owned by the IRA. Your money goes there, and now you have a checkbook, meaning you will get a checkbook with the bank, right, on behalf of the LLC, and you can write checks on the behalf of your IRA or do wires, etc. People like this when they have a lot of different ins and outs of funds coming and going, if they're doing multiple asset purchases. So and again, this is something I could probably do a whole presentation on checkbook LLC. So if you want to just send me an email saying, hey, look, I'd love to know more about that, I'll send you a quick video on it, or you can do a call with me or my team and tell you about kind of checkbook LLCs.
And just one secondary, thank you. The secondary question is, so I'm getting my first chance to capital raise and someone did say that they have money in a retirement account and they were interested, how does it work? Is like, do you have referral partners where if I myself don't necessarily have an account with you, but if I'm raising capital, do you have referral partners that we can team up with your team?
No, not really. I shouldn't say not really. No, we don't. So we don't want to get involved in that. So because we don't want to have any liability of, a bad partnership or, a bad referral, etc. It's more of a legal perspective. That being said, I would say most people come to us with their referring, parties or partners. And so that's why, a lot of time in this presentation, I was talking about the importance of you talking to your community. You come with 1 or 2 clients or 3 or 10 and get them, in a partnership or to lend or partner with you in your next deal.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for your question.
Thanks, Catherine. Abdel, let's get you unmuted, my man, and you can fire your question away. Glad you're here tonight.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Excellent.
Yes, I was just wondering if someone wanted to, pretty much someone is on their first job and they wanted to passively invest, is there, any possibility to use self-directed IRA to invest with their, 401k while still working?
Yeah, no, it's not possible. If they currently have a 401k where they're currently working, that can't be moved. It has to be an old from a prior employer or traditional or an old 403b. But don't worry. Like I said, there's 100 million of them. So there's still someone else out there.
All right.
I mean, to piggyback off that question, Greg, can someone open up instead of transferring, horizontally or an old retirement account, can someone just open up a brand new self-directed account?
Yes, they can. Great question, Iffy. So yeah, if you have an IRA or don't have an IRA at all and want to start from scratch, absolutely. They can open up and contribute to a retirement account and a self-directed account. And we'd love to help you with that for sure.
Is there a minimum, capital requirement there to do that, Greg?
Not really, but I like to say at least 5,000, or else there's not much you can do. Even 5,000, there's not too much you can do, but you can with 5. I've seen people wholesale with $5,000, turn their 5 into 25,000. So you can wholesale. So yeah.
Excellent.
And what are the costs related to, opening an IRA, self-directed IRA?
Yeah, it's so the first year setup and annual costs are anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. After that, every year thereafter, it's about 0.5%. So if you got $100,000 IRA, it's the first year is the setup. It's going to be about 1,000 to 2,000. Every year thereafter is going to be about $500, 0.5%. And most likely, people, once they understand that, it's less than what you're most likely paying at your wherever you might be right now. And so, yeah, that's how it works.
Great. Thank you. I think we're on the tail end of our time here, Greg. I do have a question that I wanted to ask you, actually a couple of more as well. Can you spare us maybe 5 or so extra minutes? Are we okay on time? On
Yeah,
your end?
I got a couple minutes left here. Yeah. So yeah, let's do some speed question here.
Okay, excellent. I mean, you're rubbing shoulders with the top tier people out there. You know, they're rubbing shoulders with you. You've had an amazing journey so far, and you're just in your mid-40s. What have you seen in yourself, and what have you seen in others that have been just uber successful in their respective fields that you can share with us today that we could implement, like that 1 or 2 kind of X factor things that you've seen in your life and others?
Sure. Give first. Don't look for just trying to someone to take care of your needs, because it comes back tenfold. Relationships is number 1. Building a relationship. This is where you're going to find your opportunities and your money. And staying in your lane. Don't invest in things you don't know, like, and understand. And so, and I've tried this many times. I thought I would avoid the pitfalls. But I remember when my son came to me, he was like, "Hey, look, we're gonna invest in these calls and these puts, and we're gonna do all." I don't even know the market that well, and my son did a great job losing some money for me, but I know better. But I was like believing in my son, right? So that being the case, invest in what you know and like and understand. Invest with people, the right people. It's all about relationships. And so continue to build your relationships. And I think that's probably the most important. And stay in your lane. Those are the couple quick points of advice.
Awesome. I know you got to run here, Greg. I want to snap a quick picture to show you some love on social media. I encourage you guys to do the same as well. Grab a social media or a pic for social media here.
Get the sun out of my face for the photo. All right, there we go.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Greg, thank you so much.
I apologize again about not being in the car. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. Feel free to email me. I'll personally get back to you anytime. If there's any questions you might have. So thanks for spending time with me in the car this evening.
Awesome. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Definitely. It's good to have you with the Chasers tonight. All the best. We will see you down the road. Thank you, sir.